Let's set the ball rolling now, shall we? The CBN has recently raised the charges on ATM withdrawals by certain percentages, citing that no more free withdrawals from other banks' ATMs. This has sparked debate across the country. And joining us this morning to lend his thoughts to this recent development is a patriotic Nigerian, an economist, and also financial analyst here in the studio, Dr. Aliyu Ilias, who is a regular, a friend of the station. A very good morning to you.
Good morning to you, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much.
Well, this is not coming as too shocking for Nigerians, but
Right.
rather it's many people who heard the news yesterday were just like, oh, it's just one of those many increases or surcharges in tariffs across the country, and now it has touched ATM withdrawals.
Right. I think, yeah, you are actually correct, because as of yesterday, I recall my discussion was based on the increment in the port authority, the hike,
Yeah.
and the hike in free on board situation also by the port. So coming to see the POS, I think it is expected. However, I want to understand the main aim of that increment, because ordinarily if you go to ATM, you cannot withdraw more than 10,000.
Yes.
I don't know, and if you withdraw 10,000 naira, you cannot withdraw maybe more than 5 times or so. So looking at that, what is the rationale of increasing it? One, if the increment will now make more money available in the ATM, if the increment will now discourage people from going to POS, because POS is everything now. At POS you can withdraw 2 million. If you want cash, they can find their way. But in ATM you cannot withdraw such money, so it becomes a serious concern. And like I always say, this government is reactive, they are not proactive. Why do you wait until now before you now say, okay, you want to make ATM more functional and you want to increase the charges? Why? You know that we've been suffering a lot from this ATM. I don't know when I would think of going to ATM. Is very close to me, but I find it difficult to go, because if I go there I cannot withdraw large sum to an extent, and there is no probability that there will be cash in that ATM. So I expect them to say, banks, fund the ATM as expected
And make cash as available.
Make cash available. Anytime we go there we don't find cash there, we will sanction you. We want so pure, and let them bring about undercovers, what we call mystery shoppers, to always go around, check this ATM if they are functional, because I can tell you most bankers are in cahoots with most POS people. So instead of them loading the ATM, they prefer to give them direct, because they also collect commission. But if it is ATM, it's pretty difficult. So I think increased tariff is not our problem. Please make it available for us.
Well, it's right that you have called for availability of cash to be at our ATMs and all of that, but also the point that you had raised about not being able to withdraw more than 10,000 naira at a time at our ATMs. Do you think that maybe the CBN would consider issuing yet another directive to these banks to allow for withdrawals that are more than 10,000 naira at a time, to accommodate this new policy and increase in charges?
I think to even clarify for that, so that I can know how to deal with it very well, I am saying you cannot withdraw more than 10,000 at a time on my own bank, not even third party. Yes, not even third party or party banks. So if you cannot do that on your own ATM, how will you now go to other banks and expect more? And that's why I say we need them to be much more proactive. Perhaps let it be like an open book. Throw out all those your policy relating to ATM. Let Nigerians get to know more. Let's acquaint ourselves, so that by the time we get to the ATM machine, we are unable to withdraw money. We can easily call you, give us a number. I am at so ATM right now, and I cannot withdraw. Perhaps your offices in across all the states. You can dash down there and confirm what actually happens, and that's why you bring transparency in your consumer protection policy, because it simply means that you are following up day to day. But if you cannot get to you, it becomes a problem. But I can tell you now that the problem of cash, was it yesterday, I withdrew 10,000, I have to pay 300 naira. We are buying money. I think that's the language.
We're buying money, and in as much as we are seeing the naira also gaining against the dollar, on the FX markets, this issue of buying money, in your opinion as an economist now, from your perspective, how much of an impact does it have on the value of our currency where we use our own money to buy our own money?
It's purely negative externalities for Nigerians, because that means you are shrinking people's purchasing power. That is the basic thing, because I'm supposed to change that money. I mean, withdrew that money with 200 naira as it were before, for 10,000, but now I have to use 300 naira for 10,000 and 200 naira for 5,000. You can see, so it's shrinking my purchasing power and it's affecting me and getting other things, and it's generally affecting Nigeria economy. You know why? If I want to do business that has to do with money and I'm supposed to go with cash, it becomes a serious. It can even deny you doing the business, because you look at, okay, I want to gain 500 and I'm going to trade off 300. You know, it becomes serious. You can even overlook the businesses. So it has negative impact on Nigeria businesses and Nigeria economy.
Well, certainly it has, and even if you take a look at it from another angle, people who sell cash at weddings or events, where if you need a wad of probably 50,000 naira, you'd have to give them either 55 or 60,000 naira. How does that also, because that is on another level entirely. I mean, it's similar to the POS operator, but this time around the charges are just sky high.
I think they are in business, so do not try to.
But it's still money they are buying.
It's because CBN give room for that. They can be traced. The location can be traced, but don't blame them. In as much as they are still doing it without people checking on them, because let's also look at people that want to buy the word. You want to buy new currency, mint note, right? You want to buy it and you have to pay the price for it, because you cannot go to bank and get it. Do you even have? When did you get mint from bank or even POS for long? I think it's quite a long time. So they try to place it for those people that are going to buy it. So they are doing trading with our money, which I think CBN has a responsibility to make sure that they discourage that by all means.
But why do you think that this new policy came about? Is it? I mean, there are different opinions. Is it on one hand to dissuade people from using the ATMs, as we have cited in several times that the era of ATMs are suddenly phasing out and people are more inclined towards mobile banking transfers and all of that, or even the POS operators that are easier to gain access to? Or are we looking at a situation where the CBN wants to generate more taxes for the federal government in a tax-ridden economy that we are seeing right now?
All right, I think if you ask me, I think CBN is trying to strengthen it. However, they're trying to satisfy those banks more, because if you recall, how much do they charge per withdrawal? So I think maybe banks are now complaining that the money they are getting is small compared to the stress. They have to load it, they have to do a lot of things. I think these are the arguments. Maybe banks are also justify why they are not loading the ATM. The CBN is now seeing reasons to actually increase But for me, that's why I had issue with Nigerian and the situation of every price hike. Why not make sure you put up those things first? The infrastructure, the efficiency, the effectiveness
before
of
you
the
start
ATM.
requesting
Before you now
for more
request, so that
money.
Nigeria will now agree that okay, this thing is actually functioning as expected. We wouldn't have issues. The same thing of what I talk about port price hike.
Yeah.
You want to strengthen it, you want to open on Calabar. Why not open it first? Let's see how well you actually. The Toleram is bringing some money to free trade zone, and they are saying they are bringing the money first before every other thing. So you have to expand the infrastructure first. Not that you now start taxing us before you. And in the long run, we won't see you implementing those things. So I think banks, especially the Bankers Bank, which is a central bank, to do more in terms of, let's see the automated teller machine working much more, and let's see the point of sales doing its own best too. Don't try to kill it, because you said you want financial inclusion.
Yeah.
And one of the things that bring more financial inclusion is point of sales, POS. Because if you go to any place, any corner in Nigeria now, you see one small POS trying to make ends meet. In the long run, people are also benefiting, getting cash from there. So I think the major thing we need to do is to make sure that we strengthen POS, we also strengthen ATM, because even if you look at the ATM are mostly in the city center.
Yeah.
They are not in the some corner of Nigeria. In certain localities. Exactly. So in fact, banks are not even existing in those localities.
But you could find ATM POS
operators. So, and where banks cannot operate, I doubt if ATM can be there. So how would they load it?
Well, these are big questions to ask, but of course, the CBN policy is here. It has taken effect. It will take effect from the 1st of March, and Nigerians look to see what the CBN aims to achieve.
We hope to see. We hope to be able to withdraw money anytime we get to ATM. If that sorts the problem, fine. So we now have choice. It's either you go to POS or you go to ATM. Not that you have the mind that ATM don't work, because that's I mean,
if you look at the trajectory, doctor, from over-the-counter withdrawals and deposits, we now moved to the ATMs, which sort of made it easier for people to withdraw little lumps of cash, in a quick way to gain access to whatever it is that they want to. Then the POS operators came into the picture. It was as if people entirely neglected. Even some persons have not been to a bank in years.
Right. I think for chronicling the trajectory of CBN, they have done well. Okay. We're actually moving with the trends, because you recall that even now you hardly even pay cash now. Virtually everything. If you want to pay for your cable, school fee, everything, you do it online. So Nigeria actually moving alongside with them. But they are supposed to cater for us more in terms of making sure that we are not being cheated. Because I can tell you, I've been so changed with this fact that ATM are not loaded, POS are charging more. So that simply means we are buying money. But in terms of moving from particular four-wall bank, because everybody go to bank. I remember, in fact, let's start from the tally. I remember before the telecoms actually came in, we used to go to bank. You have to collect tally. So and they will bring out a file for you. That file, they open it to check your account and they'll be marking it. But by the time telecoms come, everything becomes digitalized. That in your door mount, you can actually transfer, you can withdraw, you can also buy. Right. So I think we are moving. But the thing is that the world is also moving. And I must also salute Nigerian banks, especially CBN. There's no way you go in the world that you do SSD transfer and you get it immediately.
Very swift.
Very swift. There's no way in fact, we are the best in fintech for now. And Japa is coming in that area.
Swift and efficient until there's a network issue and Nigerians go AWire.
Go AWire. But I think we should commend CBN and commend telecos for that. Imagine you just do it transfer and the person is receiving the alert. There's a particular bank at that self want to transfer. I will not. There's a particular bank, and I wonder, and I try to find out who owns the bank. I discovered it's a Chinese bank. It's China.
I'll do my investigation.
So, please do, because it's quite Chinese. So for me, I think that's a good one on our part. Nigeria is doing. In fact, most countries are now looking for our fintech to come to their country to actually play that role there. That things will just go as quick as possible.
Also talking about the fintechs, as much as it's effective, it's fast, it's reliable, more and more people are moving in droves towards the fintech and all of that. It also appears that there are some people, especially the older demographic, who don't really trust it, citing that, I can't trust a bank that I don't know where its headquarters or where its branch is domiciled. I need to be able to bank with an institution that I can walk into and scream my lungs out and ask for the manager. And how do we balance this?
Those people need to be exposed or educated in that direction. You must not see forward before you trust it. Remember, they are under CBN, and under CBN, we also believe that the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Commission, NDIC, must also have confirmed them. So you are actually insured to an extent once you bank with them, because they are being licensed by Nigerian bank. But the thing is, at this age, we are not looking at four-wall building again. We are looking at efficiency. I mean, in fact, you need to go back and even see the loan and the interest those people give on
I mean, if you can earn money in millions of naira and spend in millions, yet you don't even touch a single note of it.
Let me give you one funny part. One of my family, an aged person, I wanted to send money to me. He now said, you want to go and withdraw the money and now send it. And I says, Daddy, you don't need to. Just go
The
to
money
the
is there already.
ATM. Just tell him that you want to transfer to this particular. They knew how they would do it. He said, no. I'm not sure. I said, Daddy, we have gone past that era of
seeing is believing.
Seeing is believing. What is it? Until he now went and practiced, he now called me. Well, this thing was actually so seamless. Have you seen it? I said, I've seen it. He said that, this is a good one. So, though people that are not millennial, they find it difficult to believe that process. But millennial Gen Z, we believe that you cannot see this. People transact 500 million without seeing it. So, why do you have to see it? It's just, does it get to the right person? That's what we actually need.
Well, does it get to the right person? That's what we need, and these are the questions that we should be asking. You had cited the coming of the telecom industry in the country that has made banking easier for Nigerians as well.
It's their glory. They take it.
Well, we give them all the glory when it comes to the ease of banking in Nigeria. However,
people use of communication.
In use of communication, Doctor, we saw recently where members of the House of Reps have asked the federal government, via the NCC, of course, to direct these telcos to halt the 50% tariff hike, which some of the telcos have started implementing, especially MTN, that has done. In fact, at this point, it's not even 50%; it's up to 200% in terms of call and data. About 200%.
I'm surprised. Whenever I purchase, I said they have not implemented what's actually. I've not taken my time, but I can tell you, I'm feeling it on my MTN. It's not that I'm getting to
now it's surprising because the initial request that the telcos had made was for a 100% tariff hike,
and they give them 50%.
The NCC
benchmark.
The NCC said 50% benchmark. The NLC said 10%. We don't want you to kill Nigerians with the increase in tariff and all of that. And then Nigerians wake up and one day MTN has increased its tariff by 200%.
I wait FCCPC and I wait National Assembly because they deserve to be sanctioned. You know why? Even the 50% was not said they should be in 50%. You can do 35, some can do 40, and that's why I have issue with competition in that sector. They are operating like cartel. We only have 4 of them, right? So imagine if we open up that sector, whereby in FCT and its environment, you have a particular network. If I want to call you, because I knew you live around this vicinity, there's a particular network I'll use and it's very cheap. If I want to call you within not central region, I have a particular. So I wonder why for long we have not have injection of other telcos. And that's why you see that there's competition in data. If you notice, a lot of companies are giving data, into data business. But in terms of call, it's only that for, and we keep it at that level. There's need to open it up. So there will be serious competition. We are 230 million, and over 120 million are using this.
Doctor, don't you think that perhaps it's due to the high cost of running and maintaining a telecommunications business?
I don't think so.
It is quite expensive.
It also brings more money.
It's expensive,
but it brings more money.
But then, how many investors are willing to throw in billions of naira or millions of dollars into that sector?
I don't agree with that. I think it's the licensing process that is the difficult thing.
Licensing process.
Yes, you know why?
Why?
Even those 4 telcos are also riding on the back of a particular organization. Don't think they are the one doing it. The other back end that are also providing them those services. So other investors can also come if the license is actually available. I think there is a difficulty. There's a day I read through the licensing. I think there's a difficulty in the process of getting the license, not the operational cost itself as it were, because there are other people that operate somewhere. So they understand the business somewhere. So it's just for them to come and invest.
And why do you think the licenses are very difficult?
Well, that's the question we all need to raise to NCC. Why is it difficult? Because I saw the regional, all those things. You see people not coming there. So I think that's the problem. I think licensing is the major problem.
But with this new tariff hike, Dr. Aliyu, and of course the ATM withdrawal charges, hike in price, telecoms has also gone up. We're seeing electricity going up. Virtually every single
Let
thing
me add to
in the
it.
country.
We also see port hike by 15%.
By 15%.
Yes, and free on board by 4%.
Well, we hear that the Nigeria Customs Service has decided to hold the 4%
FOB.
hike. Yes.
Well, the thing is, I think this government is bent on raking in more money. Now, raking in more money, my challenge is this: why don't you fix what you're supposed to fix before you now start raising the money?
Yeah.
You know, virtually all Nigerians agree that telecoms should increase their money, but not to up to 50%. If you are doing 10%, you know, and you gradually increase, and we are seeing the infrastructure and what have you, Nigerians wouldn't mind, because we know we all benefit. But you are now saying 100%, they now say 50%, and one of those networks are not even doing about 200%. And that's the problem we have. So if we continue to raise tariff, government will have more money, but Nigerians will suffer for it.
Government will have more money and Nigerians will suffer for it. Talking about Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians have raised concerns concerning the tariff hike. And I think it was yesterday on X, I saw a lot of tweets, which we don't have at the moment right now. But, you know, I saw a lot of tweets and Nigerians were like, where do we go from here? Where do we go from MTN? Because a lot of them are considering, you know, stopping the usage of their MTN SIM cards and all of that.
You recall that there was a time that we have room to port. I think Nigerians can still port. I don't think that place is blocked yet. So I think that's why we must react as Nigerians too. Once we see any network that is treating us in a bad manner, we have room to actually, and that's why we say we want more competition.
Retain the number and then port.
Yes, and ports. Yeah, I think it's open.
Service provider.
Yes, I have people that use MTN but ports to Glo. So which is, I have people that have MTN ports to Airtel, and the numbers still remain.
It's also from the angle of it's also from the angle of efficiency. From my experience, I don't know about yours. From my experience, for calls in the city center, MTN is your best bet.
Not only for call. In fact, if you look at, I've traveled around the whole country for like 5 times. The best network is still, you know,
but there are certain localities, there are certain rural areas that you go to, and MTN doesn't work there. You have to either use Airtel or Glo.
They have more. I agree, but they have more upper hand. And you know, apart from that, they control 38%.
And when it comes to data tariffs, data plans, and you know, fast internet connectivity, Airtel is your best bet. Now I'm giving you my own perspective. I don't know about yours. I will give you
where will you keep 9 mobile? You know, the thing is, like, MTN have gotten a lot of grip of Nigeria. Because when I look at the statistics, I think they are controlling about 38%. MTN. Then others, maybe Glo and Airtel is controlling 16%. While the other one is controlling 9%, which is a serious issue. By the time you give these people much more power, you know, they tend to do what. And you know what? You know, cartel simply means group or like 4 companies coming together and determine what happens. Right? And that's why you see when MTN, when government sanction maybe Airtel, MTN will come and fight for, you know, they will come together and say no, they are grandstanding. So until we break that level, even the way with the same thing with cable network, until we break those things and let us have efficient alternatives. Our number is high.
I mean, with regards to cable network, there are more than enough alternatives in the country at the moment.
The source that you can, not the stations, the source. You know, I think we have only 3.
Which is?
We have DSTV, we have GoTV, we have StarTimes.
But at the moment, how many people or how many Nigerian homes depend solely on DSTV, GoTV, and StarTimes? Netflix is there.
We are talking, you are going higher.
I'm going higher globally.
You are going higher, you are going globally. We are talking about HD and where people can actually afford, you know, affordability.
And gain access to affordable viewership on television.
Most people are still on terrestrial now. You've forgotten. Most people are still on terrestrial. So until we make it much more better, you understand, to achieve those things. So there should be a lot of alternative. You know, when you talk about those Netflix and what have you, you need to stream. So you need more data to do that. I'm talking about the one that you just click and you just bring afford. And you look at how much we are even paying for cable network. They are not still cheap as well. So if you look at all those things, we need competition. You know, as an economist, I believe competition will bring efficiency and you bring more technology.
Well, I also hear that there are some free TVs that Nigerians can gain access to, which have been sponsored by the federal government.
I bought one.
In certain places like Abuja and Lagos.
I bought it. There's a place it works. It's not everywhere.
And what places are this?
Well, I think within the city center you can get, but when you move close to maybe Suleja, Axis, Maraba,
but isn't that a move in the right direction towards what you are calling for in terms of decentralizing the cable networks that you have
HD.
away from DSTV, away from GoTV and the rest?
It's not HD and it's not efficient and it's not consistent. Go and check it. You can even watch today, tomorrow there is no network, so it's not reliable until we move. And why should government come there? It's not government business. It should be. You should bring enabling environment and people compete in that direction. That's what we expect, not government. Government, even the start time is because government is partnering, is a Chinese company and whatever. That's why we can say, and it's not HD. Those are the things we need to look at.
It's not HD, but at least it allows access to certain information on television for people that cannot, afford the high-end DSTV subscription.
Well, I agree with you. How many Nigerians even watch TV at this point of poverty? Let's move on.
Well, let's move on to other issues in the news, Doctor. That was a very important question you have raised. Well, how many Nigerians actually watch TV in a situation where the country grapples with a lot of challenges, economic, wars and security challenges?
Exactly.
And contributing largely to these security challenges.
In fact, TV watch is becoming an elitist realm.
Where we live in a society where the middle class is eliminated.
They don't even want to. Is it TV that my case concern now when I have to do other things? And the radio that we're expecting to also do that, if you see, Abuja have more than 30 radio stations now, but some of them are still folding up because they couldn't get the considerable advert.
The Nigerian Senate is slamming the Nigeria police over missing 3,907 assault rifles that have most likely fallen into the wrong hands, which many believe has, raised these issues of non-state actors perpetuating illicit acts of violence against Nigerians across the country. Now, I know this is a very shocking development to find that over 3,000 or almost 4,000 assault rifles, I think from 2018 till now, have gone missing from the coffers of the Nigeria police. What is your genuine reaction to this?
It is quite appalling and unheard of that what we have on our security hand is also getting missing, and it's getting to the non-state actor. There is no definition for it. That means there is a cahoot between the police, some elements in police, and these non-state actors, and it could be traceable. You know that there is no way you will see element of corruption, armed robbery. They will not trace. Because I recall even when we are much younger. Let me give you my case. I was in Lagos. I think there was a time I was selling bread, a bread company. I was a sales rep, and we are going. And before you know, around 6:30 a.m., there was a robbery. They stop us. They actually collect one woman chain. I think those armed robbers followed that woman. Yeah. So they told me to be on the gutter and everything. So by the time those people left, we saw some security personnel. I will tell them that this is where they actually passed through. Yeah. I expect them to move immediately to follow them. They started questioning us, going, "Okay, move now, follow these people now." They say, they need to, That simply means, some time. I'm not saying they are in cahoots, but our disposition to those matters, suggests.
And the lack of sense of urgency.
Suggests there is something that is actually going on. So for me, I think right from the IG, I think they should, how do I call it? Make sure they do a kind of probe right from up to trace where this thing actually went to. And it's so sad. So I expect this kind of case to be carried out by DSS, not by police. Let police investigate the DSS. Police investigating itself.
It's not the Nigeria police that is investigating itself now, but it's the Nigerian Senate that has decided
through which agency?
Well, of course that is where we have the debacle, because the Nigerian Senate is saddled with responsibility. In fact, many people believe that this should have been passed down to the House of Representatives to set up a committee to investigate the Nigeria police and of course these missing rifles. Also, let's take a look at it holistically. If these missing rifles might have happened due to certain attacks on, police personnel in the line of duty, where maybe an armed robbery attack or like a crossfire between them.
Possible.
Yeah, and then some of them fall and die, and the non-state actors pick up these firearms and all of that. Do you think that in this number of years, from 2018 till now, the number of firearms missing in such situation would have gotten to close to 4,000? Is this realistic?
It's not even realistic.
Sincerely.
Let me even say this. So if there's any attack on Nigerian police, and they carted away their rifle, that should be record. Can they give us the record that at also point there was an attack on the police stations? This is what they carted away. Let's see that and account for actually that's just, it's as simple as that. If you can actually look into that, and that's part problem of SARS. Then that's what brought about what SARS. We have forgotten that Nigerian police should be equipped. They should be well paid. Because if they are well paid, I don't think there will be a level of enticement. You could let me even look at DSS. I want to believe they are well paid compared to police. So there are some things you don't hear from about them because averagely they are okay. So when we don't pay those people very well, they are susceptible. They are human to all those negative externalities. But however, if there's any attack on Nigerian police or is being killed, there must be a record, there must be a report. That's also period. This is what happened, and they can also trace that rifle. That's the beauty of it. Once you see a rifle belongs to police, you can trace it when all those things. So it's so sad if we end up finding out that some police are actually the ones selling it out. That's why we must carry out the investigation.
Well, allegations have been there in several occasions where people have cited that some police stations loan out or lend out these assault rifles to either kidnappers or armed robbers and other non-state actors to carry out their vices, carry out their operations, return the rifles, and return monies to them.
It's beautiful that this allegation is on the table of the National Assembly. So I want them to probe further to make sure they get a logical conclusion. Because if they don't tame this, it's going to continue. We've seen where police have been paraded, that they are in support with, in cahoots with some robbery. That's a good one. But we want to see more of it. And we want to see them being tried publicly. So that when you try them publicly, it will serve as a deterrent to other police. We have seen was it one woman who came to Nigeria on tourism, where some police say, bring money. Those people were paraded and were sacked on the TV. But those ones that involve rifle, we want them to be sacked and be shamed publicly to that extent. I think that's why they should continue that probe. Which station has this happened? And they should do what we call check, or what we call accountability of what we actually have. This station will give you so over time. Is it the same thing? This state will give you so rifle. Is it the same? So by the time they look at all those things, they can come down to the conclusion and know how any rifle has been made. But it's a sad story to hear.
Quite a very sad story to hear. And yet another sad story. We hear that the abductors of the APC National Director are demanding about 350 million naira ransom in a spate of kidnapping that has rocked the nation. We have seen quite a number of high-ranking individuals in the country being kidnapped, including much recently General Siga, who is still in custody 1 week after. I mean, it's quite worrisome that such highly placed individuals, including a general, could be abducted, and yet days after or even weeks after, we have not seen or heard anything from the security forces with regards to rescuing them.
Right. I think at the point at which we are celebrating Tinubu government, especially we in the FCT, that we are seeing considerable level of security, kidnapping is reducing. In fact, those people at the Cardinal Dags were telling me yesterday that they are happy now. They can sleep with their two eyes closed. But we are still hearing about this. So I think government needs to do more to make sure they rescue this person. And I want to imagine if government will not pay ransom, because government said do not pay ransom to this kidnapper. It's a sad news, and we hope this person will be released, and we hope those perpetrating this evil act will also be brought to justice, because those things are not for common people. If you look at those things, they are in business. People that will kidnap, different people that will collect money, different people that will communicate. They are like in cartel doing this business. So we hope government will get to the root of it, and these people brought to.
But doctor, it's not just enough to hope that things happen and fall into place, because if we would rely on hopes, I will say I hope that the government had, or the CBN had not increased the charges on ATM withdrawals. I would also hope that MTN had not increased its tariff by 200%. I would hope that I was at the Aso Villa as the president.
Right.
It's not enough to hope.
They say if hope,
wishes were all these beggars would right.
Right. So the thing is this, I think it's fair comments. You know why? It is even now a general that is being so, and that is it. So if it concerns them now, yes, I'm sure they will go all out.
Now, two individuals in this picture. General Siga, on one hand, was abducted about a week ago, while, of course, Dr. Adekunle Raif Adeniji was abducted about 2 weeks ago. Now, you might also note that he's the Director of Administration, in the National Secretariat of the All Progressives Congress. He was abducted here in Abuja, not in some rural area, not in some other part of the country.
And that's,
do you still think that Abuja is as safe as you had just portrayed it to be in a few moments?
I think we have the cautious optimism for that at least. But with this now, it shows that we are not actually that safe. But like I said, it is now one of their own, and they want to go all out for it. And I expect them to go all out for all incidents. So we want them to go all out. Let me change the hope. We want them to go all out to make sure that they free these people and bring to justice those perpetrators.
Also in Anambra State, we saw yet another gruesome murder of a lawmaker that, although arrests have been made and all of that, but it appears that this spate of kidnapping for ransom and killings is now spreading all across the country.
I think
do you think this is one of the reasons why the Senate has called on the Nigeria police to investigate the missing over 3,000 assault rifles?
I think this is quite instructive and correct at this point. But you will recall that the Southeast have been suffering a lot. Yeah. It is what you will hear that we account for. Because I have people who said they cannot even go to the Southeast in some of their own area because of the spate of killing and kidnapping. And I think that's why we need to take holistic view at the case in that area. We call them unknown gunmen. It's a good one that
UGM in short.
It is good that we are having those people arrested, those suspects rather. Can you imagine a lawmaker falling into this level of gruesome murder? I think they need to bring them to justice. But I can tell you that Southeast need to be combed holistically, because people cannot access a lot of it. Aside from stay at home Monday, we people at least are trying to actually come up on money, but with that fear in them. So I think government need to focus more.
I mean, one of the states that has been quite proactive towards putting an end to the sit-at-home Mondays, Anambra State.
Enugu is trying to.
Enugu as well, with its ever-brilliant governor.
So I think all governors must make sure, especially in that area. And the issue of, that also bring about the issue of Nnamdi Kalu, because our government need to also look into that direction too, because we heard that this man in is it Switzerland or which
Monday
Ekpa has been, if you look at things, it has been curtailed to an extent. So I think we should look at political solution to the issue of Nnamdi Kalu, if that could also be bringing such incident, because sometimes you will come out and say, no, if you release meetings will settle, or I don't know about Monday Ekpa and what have you. So I think there should be a political solution through those governors to the federal government and see what they can actually do for that.
Well, Doctor, still staying with security matters, we have just about 10 minutes to wrap up this conversation. We have touched a lot on the missing assault rifles, which inherently might have been the reason for this increase in kidnapping for ransom in the country, but also another issue that a lot of security experts have raised concerns about is the recent statement by the federal government, or decision rather, to rehabilitate and reintegrate terrorists or Boko Haram members into the society. We saw this happen during the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari, and it was met with a lot of backlash. And we know what happened then. A lot of them went back to their communities and went back to their heinous acts. Yet again, we are seeing this administration towing that part.
Right, I saw it was a Zamfara governor that is trying to actually embark on that again. So for me, I don't think we need to tolerate these people, because terrorists will always remain terrorists. You will recall, even I recall most of those Chibok girls that was actually with them before and they are released. Well, they still want to go back to their husband. That simply means that dastard attitude may not leave those people. So for me, I don't think there is need for you to give them an opportunity. Even though they have been repentant, don't still give them that opportunity like a normal until we start discouraging those people discouraging them seriously, because they deserve to be killed. Once you kill an innocent citizen, abduct innocent citizen, take things, make life difficult for people, I don't see reason why those people should be considered in terms of rehabilitation and whatever. In as much as you can rehabilitate people that does not get to that heinous level of crime, maybe people that commit little atrocity, not terrorists. To give terrorists opportunities, for you to give them opportunity to come and do more, because they will still find their way back. Recall, those money they are getting is coming cheap to them before. By the time they come to leave the society,
they won't see as much money.
So they want to go back and be worse about it. And those are the things that we need to curtail.
Big question on the table right now, Doc. If a Bello Turji comes out today and says he's repentant, he no longer wants to kidnap for ransom, he no longer wants to kill people and hold an entire community, to ransom, where levies have to be paid to him and his cohorts, would Bello Turji be pardoned? Also, if Nnamdi Kanu decides in the next court sitting, which has been suspended, of course, indefinitely, but in the next court sitting, Nnamdi Kanu comes up and tells the judge and the federal government that he has repented. He no longer wants to fight the cause for Biafra. He no longer wants to have anything to do with the idea of IPOB or whatever it is. Should Nnamdi Kanu be pardoned just as much as these terrorists?
I think we are comparing two things that are not the same.
Break that down.
Right. Bello Turji is a terrorist, well-known terrorist, who also is disturbing every Nigerians every now and then. So you can't compare him to Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu is saying that they want secession, they want to secede, they want their own country, and that's his own argument. So that his own could be much more political. But in terms of Bello Turji, is a terrorist. If he repent today, he should also be killed, because there is no way he will repent. How about people that he has wasted their life? And if he repents, what's the guarantee that he will not also do more? In fact, he has hold most
why is the Zamfara state government not thinking about the possibility of these repentant terrorists going back to their vomit when rehabilitated? How much of rehabilitation can you give to a terrorist and trust them well enough to reintegrate them back into your society?
Well, I saw those people that are calling for rehabilitation as a sympathizer of those terrorists, and it's a dangerous signal to look at. So, and that's why we are using the example of Bello Turji. Such people should not be given any pardon whatsoever. Whenever they find them, they need to be killed. How can you kill a lot of people, collect ransom, make life unbearable for people, take people away from their community, and you want to seek pardon? What kind of pardon is that? So, and that's why people are saying that the Zamfara also should remember this also happened in Kaduna, and what's the gain of it? Those people did not repent, and they still continue to perpetuate their evil
went back
acts
to their community.
So I think
carried on like nothing happened.
So I think you don't compare the issue of IPOB with. Remember, even the Nnamdi Kanu has been in custody for long. So where is Bello Turji in the custody?
And then Nnamdi Kanu was arrested outside of Nigeria.
So
Bello Turji is still roaming the forest of Zamfara and the northwest.
Right. So I think it's a two thing. I think Nigerian soldiers should carry a war close to Bello Turji and make sure they bring him down.
Do we really want to fight this war?
That's another question to ask.
Well, that's another question to ask. A fine way to leave it there, Doctor. But it's been a pleasure having this conversation with you. Many questions on the minds of Nigerians. I'm glad you have answered quite a number of them.
Thank you for
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Well, that has been Dr. Aliyu Ilias, an economist and a political analyst, sharing and lending his deep wealth of knowledge with us on issues of national interest across the country. Well, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll be delving into matters of education in the country and ways to better our educational sector. Do well to stay with us. It promises to be a very robust conversation after this break.
Now here's some exciting news. ADBN is everywhere you are. Stay connected with us across all our social